Hi, this is Richard Wang. I am the one of the partners and broker at Veridian Mortgage. We are residential mortgage brokers doing originating loans in California and 6 other states. Sure, if I had occasion to do that, even though you do need to be 18 to borrow money, I would just simplify it by saying that homes are very, very expensive in a lot of parts in California. And most people who want to buy these homes, they don't have the money to buy them. And so instead, they borrow money, which means there's a bank or a lender who has money to give to the buyer so that they can buy the house. But in return, the buyer has to pay back the lender over a long time period, and that is what you call a mortgage. That's a good question because mortgages inherently are not fun. In fact, I think it's Latin for slow death. And so I've probably been referred to as something along the lines of a grim reaper at some point or another because I don't bring exactly, good news. Yes, I help people buy homes, but the mortgage itself is not a positive thing that somebody wants. It's a means to an end. But I like to think of it as, even though it means slow death, if somebody makes their payments consistently over time, slowly, you can think of it as the death of the mortgage, which is really what you want, because at that point, then you become the outright homeowner and the property becomes free and clear. That's the moment where a lot of people consider that to be like the American dream when you own your house free and clear. Well, I think as mortgage brokers, we definitely offer a lot of choice. We offer a multitude of loan products, and we definitely focus on giving the borrower an advantage when they are in a large pool of buyers competing for the same property. And we do that by focusing on speed, and we focus on service and strategizing the best way to present them in the best light possible when they do make the offer. But if I had to choose like an ideal referral, it would definitely be like a clean, A-paper, high credit, high income type of borrower, because those loans are, of course, very highly sought after because they're easy and they don't take a whole lot of time and effort relative to other more, shall I say, complex files that have other challenges. And so if I had it my way, every file would be like that. But unfortunately, the reality isn't exactly, doesn't really play out that way. But for those really clean borrowers, which does represent a majority of my personal client base, we give them the advantage of having really, really fast speed, which I think in a seller's market can really make the difference between getting your offer accepted or not. Sure. I mean, just technology in general. Boy, when I started, there was thermal fax paper and snail mailing verifications of employment, and that has slowly progressed. It's not always the cutting edge of technology. I'm talking about the residential finance industry. But over time, we've had technology where we can send in documents that will automatically read tax returns. And we have technology where we can send in a loan estimate, which is required at the outset of every loan, to compare with other competitors. So if a client of ours, for example, they get a competing quote from a bank, we can take that loan estimate, just zip it in, and then it'll spit out all the different options we can present to the client that may offer an alternative. And then even more recently, some of our lenders have developed their own sort of like ChatGPT version. So for example, one of our lenders, United Wholesale Mortgage, they launched Chat UWM last year, which you can ask them all sorts of financing questions about all the different programs they offer, all the many, many guidelines and regulations in lending that they can answer in an instant. And there's also now AI for loan officer assistants, and they are making phone calls for us, scheduling appointments, and doing a lot of the work that our assistants are doing. So it's exciting to see and see how it will help us, launch us into higher production levels. I think it's only going to get better and faster at a faster pace. So I think there was a lot of question within the industry about whether AI would replace loan officers and real estate agents. But I really do think that it's not going to happen because it's such a personal business, and the human side of the relationship is really, really difficult for AI to capture. But I do think that those early adopters who embrace AI and who are willing and open-minded to learn about the latest in AI technology and who embrace that are going to end up replacing those loan agents and those real estate agents who don't adopt and embrace it. So because close to 80% of my new clients come from Provisor referrals, I think, and there's a pretty wide audience of Provisor members on LinkedIn. My primary target on social media and LinkedIn is really that Provisor community, to stay in touch, to stay top of mind, to inform and educate the latest. That's what's going on in my company, myself, and also the industry. But I think the goal really is to be authentic, whether that's going to be a message that's professionally related or personally related. I think people really are drawn towards that authenticity. And when they find out that, he also likes wine, or he's also interested in pickleball or whatever, those overlapping interests just kind of strengthen the commonalities that you may or may not already have. And it's when you have those sort of overlapping interests, people are more likely to refer business to you. They're more likely to trust and to like you. And that's really the ideal networking situation to be in with any referral partner. I would like to mention that because there's so many attorneys and provisors, I just counted in my head, I've been a member of the state bar for almost 27 years. And I used to practice insurance defense litigation and then estate planning. And I do give legal advice to my clients in the context of a mortgage transaction. And just last year, maybe a year and a half ago, I started serving as an expert witness for mortgage-related cases, whether it was like damages or if it pertained to the character of a certain mortgage lender. I was brought in on a couple cases, and so I'm adding that to my repertoire. But I think as far as a differentiator, I think that's one thing that will definitely separate me from other lenders in my industry, is that we do give legal services, but for mortgage clients.